Alrighty then, welcome to today's video for Tuesday, the 24th of September 2019. My name is Derek. Like always, all bets trades of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. Start off with gold, silver, the ratio, quickly on each, and a lot of interesting stuff going on. Bitcoin dominance, and then move into ratio trading. Trading in general, just play in the market. And I'm going to use some old WWE songs, mainly Motorhead, all Motorhead actually, three of them. And one of them is because I really have to use it to reference it, and I like that music. And I'm not going to sing, I'm going to read their lyrics and go over bits and pieces of it. Okay then, so gold chart daily, we're just hanging in there. Another resistance test of this Fibonacci level, and the Fibonacci on the monthly term time frame represents 61.8% exponentially from this high towards this low. A lot of resistance and playing around within the first 38.2, and with just about a week or so left in this month. Well, we're pausing in here. We're pausing in here. We've been a little bit above. We've been a little bit below. And again, as we can see in the daily, we see it in here, coming down the 18, barely getting above. And now, after a couple of days ago, making up to the 18 average of highs and up to this level, just hanging in there. This thing is like, oh, it looks, it's not the easiest of calls, but fast move down in here, we'd make a move down the 18 lows. But if it can get above this area to the upper end of this range, then this is like wild card situation. It's got high probability where it could break above this resistance and have significant moves on the short term time frame on the single hour. What's up here? We have this move in here, which we had broke down below the support. What I see right now, just by looking at this, is a miniature or small failed breakdown. This is a terrible line, but it's breaking this level of support and this little stuff in here. But to see it more clearly, let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame. 15, we can see that around 9 o'clock we had that failed breakdown, comes back in the range, and now it's at the upper end now, breaking above this Fibonacci line. So the price action, and this could be fast, it's going to be way later when you see it, if most likely. Next target short term up to here, but this move long term could signify here on the daily that we could have good excitation of the 18 highs. Moving on to silver. On the daily for it, it's got above the 18, and we can see it hit this line pretty okay. Well, let's just take a look at this further, because these lines just, I don't know, the ones appear less. Well, let's see it here. 3 hour right in here, and now it's pierced up quickly back. It's like this is the pierce lesson here. Just scroll this down. I was really surprised here last night that the price action, which got up to 1874, wasn't able to go up at least another couple 2 cents. And one of the things I do state on here, usually more times than not, it doesn't do this, which I find fascinating, because it should be 50-50 random for how many times it like does 2 cents less or 2 cents more kind of deal. But this is 2 cents less. As far as this line in here, we can see that the Fibonacci is 1823. The low in today's session comes in at that of 1822, 1 cent less. So what's going on here? Let's take a look at this on the 15-minute time frame. It's adjusted so we can see it better. There we can see it, two different periods in which it came down. And that's interesting. We can see in this just two different spots, because within this, we know it hit the line, came up at least to 1827 before coming back down again. And on the 4-minute time frame, that was a fast move then, I guess. Let me see it. Yeah, because we can see here on the 1 minute it came down this line, then it rallied up to here, and then a couple minutes later even, but started at the 45 session. So it took two periods in a span of like 3 minutes. But since then, we can see a nice little uptrend. And short-term analysis, again, this doesn't mean much, but this is just for like understanding technical analysis. When you see these levels of resistance, it's flirting nice with the 18 highs. And short-term, the next like 4 or 5 minutes, if you're seeing this, don't be surprised to see it go up to like 49. I mean, here we are doing it now, 49.50, and then from there, who knows how great it can do. Basically, what I was saying, that what's happening now has a good probability of happening. And then if we look at this, oh, where does it look like we're going in here? Well, it looks like, well, we've already came up to this level of resistance in here. We can see that this resistance matches this low. So what's the next where we came from spot? Well, I can see little areas in here, about 1852. So short term, and I'll going to write a note or just think in my head, okay, check silver at the end of this video because I wouldn't be surprised in a few minutes if it goes up another, up to the 55 cent handle. Amongst the gold to silver ratio, we have the resistance from this point down below this 18 lows. Still no confirmation or no. It can still hold and stay above the 18 lows, just even though it went below it. But this rally in here, it's got to get above the 18 average of highs to attempt and above this previous resistance to attempt to end this newly downtrend that has created two lower highs and two lower lows thus far. On the single hour term, as we can see, a significant move has come into play. Okay, well, this is a change in statement. After this down move, band flattened out at 2200 hours yesterday. There was an attempt to break it in here. You could almost say this is a reversal of trend. Okay, first higher high, this one to this one. Now we're having a correctionary move down to the 18. Where did we came from here? Well, this level of resistance, so the next, I mean, just obvious, around 83.75 is the next level. It's about 61.8 from this fib level here, and it's a key area where it came from. And from this high here, it's a just a deep where it looks like it should go. This is the best way for me to explain it. Moving over to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, as the price here is 9,526. That level's not seen since the end of August, and very close to being at levels not seen since the middle of June. And it's been in this long range descending triangle. It's been not been breaking any resistance whatsoever. We had this failed breakdown on September 19th, but after that, it was unable to successfully maintain anything higher. Thus, what it was establishing a level of support, resisting this area in here, and we can see the weakness it's had within the 18. It left it in yesterday's session, and we've had continue follow through. So we're at that support area. The lower end of this is 91, 9200 area. Most certainly looks like there's a good, decent chance it's going to go there. What happens after that fact, I don't know. It could very easily go below it. And I'm going to do a more beginners video later on and do more analysis, but basically, as I've been stating before, it could be support. If we're finding support, I'm going to be looking for next level of resistance at around 10,000. If it breaks below it, then I got two key levels I'm going to be looking at after that. One will be low 8,000s, high 7,000s, then after that the entire 6,000s, with the first one being the area only where a failed breakdown would be on the longer term, and this big key Fibonacci level at 63.41. Amongst the Bitcoin dominance, interesting sessions over the last couple of days here as we've had correctionary move now validated as it's moved into the 18 average after establishing a low at about 68 high change, and now it's at 70 and 3/4. We take a look at this on, say, a 3-hour term time frame, and the Bitcoin dominance seems to be a little slower, but it gets it done. Here we can see since established this level of resistance, it had its breakout 2 days ago in the morning and has successfully corrected this move in here and is now breaking out nicely within this. So again, going back to the daily term time frame, it's still in this correctionary mode. All this is doing is flattening out this newly declining average. Therefore, with the established support, this is what we're looking for. Stage 1, band flatten out. Stage 2, established support. Stage 3, come back, and that's where we are. Price action falling below the 18 average of lows, breaking down below 70. It means it's on the attempt to do stage 4, which is break it. It's got to get pretty much down to about 68 and 2/5, 68.4 area. For me to say that's a clear price break, maybe even 68.6. But in the 68 mid area is a good way of saying it, is the general area of where the clear break of support would be. A clear break above the 18 average of highs would be somewhere in the high 71 area. And let's switch over to altcoins. Another day, another over 10,500 Satoshi now. As this Go chain, it didn't get up to this 130. And volatility, that's basically what I expect. We had a price action get up to about 133, now down to 105 into this 18 average. Now Bitcoin dominance is on the north side in the favor of Bitcoin, with the decline meaning altcoins are losing more than Bitcoin is at this stage. I pointed out yesterday, without any audio, how pretty much every coin is in a bearish situation for the big interview. I'm going to do that later in the day, but it's going to be much later. Not until several hours, as I got lots of other things I got to get done before then. Here we can see on the hour term time frame break of this level of support after leaving this. This is just technical analysis doing its thing. That's all it is. So So you have all this volatility. So when you see this, shorter term time frame is just going to be a beaut. Beauty is another way of saying beaut. And there's a lot of opportunities to be had. And there's so many ways of profiting in this game. Obviously, this was a major level of support. Here's what we call the failed breakout. You get above the 18 average of highs. That's why I love this indicator. You come back to where you came from, and you expect to resist there. That's bullish and bearish to do that. Obviously, it's going to end up being bearish right now with what's going on. And this is where the correctionary phase here. And I say, if you see it failing on the 18, there's your indication that this baby is a failed move. And there we have it. So now we come back in here. The typical resisting where we come from amongst newly declining within the 18 highs. There's your exitation. Now we're having a decent sized decline. We're probably going to go a little bit further than that. Wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if we bottom in this area and we don't at least touch the low 100 area, meaning 101 or 102 at least. I would think something like this would go to. But hey, we'll see what price does. Now let's move into a ratio. I've only talked about this once or twice. I talked about this yesterday, I'm pretty sure. H bar and Raven coin. Ratio right now is 1.25. Although it had an interesting move yesterday in here. Did I take advantage of it? I sure as heck did. As the price action got above the 18 average of highs. And now what are we seeing? Okay, we see that it got above this, went to this. Now we're failing within this 18 average. Okay, so maybe we go down here. And I don't care. I don't care what direction this goes. I just want it to have these wild moves is what I hope for. Because, I mean, let's face it. And this is where I'm going to interlude into some WWE old songs. It's a game. And it's all about the game is how you play it and how you play it. And the actual WWE, formerly known as WWF, is an interesting organization because being born in the mid 70s, I got to witness WrestleMania 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, granted, WrestleMania 1 was waiting a few months after the event and going to a video rental store and probably paying $2 or $3 to rent the event. And it was exciting to rent it. And I rented WrestleMania 2 and 3. WrestleMania 4, I started finding ways of watching it on pay-per-view. I wasn't able to go to WrestleMania 6 in Toronto, but I tried, all that type of stuff. And then it got bad. But it got bad when I was starting to go to late high school and to college when it was like, okay, I'm not a kid anymore. And then in 1997, it started to get good again, and then it got bad around 2004. But in between the 97 and 2004, there were like 3 really good songs, and all were by Motorhead. My favorite being The Game. That's what it's called. It's time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. I'm going to make the font of this bigger. And there we go. Done. Let's continue on. It's all about control and if you can take it. Now, I use these lyrics to motivate me back in the day as a poker player. And I do it's the exact same thing now as a trader kind of deal. It's all about debt and if you can pay it. And that's just another typical way of being able to handle the losses in this game, as I put it. It's all about pain and who's going to make it. Because in this game of trading, there's going to be a lot of people that make it. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose big. And you know that going in. And you're in the game, so which side of the fence are you going to be on? Now, I am the game. You don't want to play me. I am control. No way you can change me. I am heavy debt. No way you can pay me. I am the pain, and I know you can't take me. And this is just a way of saying, like, I'm that damn good, and you work towards being that damn good. It's a lot of work and a lot of talent. On one way of saying of just smarts, education, I guess, is using talent. But look over your shoulder, ready to run. And I normally would say like a Cleveland bitch from a smoking gun. Because, I mean, for all the time I heard it, that's what it sounded like. But I guess it's like a good little one, I guess. I am the game and I make the rules. So move on out here and die like a fool. Try to figure out what my move's going to be. Now, that was big on the poker one because it was like, that was huge. I used that line. Here it's like, I tell you what my move's going to be. Come on over, sucker, why don't you ask me? Don't you forget the price you can pay, because I am the game. And I want to play. So really that's just, that's one of my favorite lyrics to it. So as far as the game is concerned, I make the rules, all that type of stuff. Well, that's the rules of like how I play the ratios and stuff like that. And we're gonna get a little bit into it now. We'll get to another couple songs after this, but back to the charts. What I did was, well, first of all, I got into H bar, which is a hash graph thing, because I remember over a year ago watching Mike Maloney Hidden Secrets of Money, and the last half of that video was about the hash graph, and I'm like, well, that's interesting, and there's no way I could have got into it then, and just randomly someone puts up a comment like, why don't you have H bar as one of your like serious holdings kind of deal? It's like, well, first of all, it would definitely not be serious now, and it's not. It's funny money, as I called it before. But Hashgraph is something that I really wanted to at least just speculate on, so it was a no-brainer that I bought H bar. I wanted to find something to dance with it, and well, Ravencoin easily won the battle. And let's take a look at this H bar, which technically, if I wanted to be a big gamble, I would sell it all and look to buy it back at like low 300s maybe, because failed move, fast move. But you know what? No, because if it goes down there, my ratio will take care of it, and I'll just sell Ravencoin to buy it with. So I'm just going to do it that way. But what? Oh goodness, what happened here? Failed break. Oh, it's obvious. I mean, I see this all the time in here. Now there's your weakness on the 18 lows. And I'm expecting these to have a bunch of these moves, and I want to take advantage as much as I can. So let's take a look at this. This is the hourly time frame that this is happening. There really isn't even anything much on the daily. It's just that damn new. If you go to Coin Market Cap, I mean, like, no data before this. I can't find any evidence of it trading before then. Maybe this is a scam coin. If it is, I'm not putting much of a large risk on it. If I lose everything I put into it, you know what? That happens. That's what happens in the game of gambling. I'm just so used to it, and I'll continue to be. Shorter term time frame, 15. What's okay? I mean, this is looking when you see this like, okay, someone just bought it and sold it. So the only way you could take advantage of up here is if you were there for it, if you had the order. I sold at 515. That was my sell order, and I did one of the two. And when you look at the 1 minute time frame, it's obvious which one it was, because I'm going to explain what that candle means. You haven't seen it yet. You will soon. We're up in here. Let's take a look at it. And there's a few of them. There's two of them. What does this red candle mean? How does this make sense? And I'm going to explain it. Because what happens is, before this happens, the last trade was in here 412. And then what we have is this open at like 549, and then just go all the way back down to pretty much where it was. What does that mean? Okay. Well, it meant that it opened at this price. So the first trade on after 23:15, which took place at 23:16, 11:16 p.m. New York time, was that somebody bought it up to that level. So it was a one buy thing. And then later in that minute, it was traded down. At least one trade, the final trade was 420. And there was another trade at 413, which would have happened, of course, after this. So there was at least two trades that took place after this. One at 413 and the last one at 420. So the only way you could have got this was an order. You couldn't even been there and waited for it. If you were like, no orders, I'm like, oh, I want to sell it at 480 or 500 or 520. You couldn't have done it. In here, if you were fast enough, and I wasn't, I didn't get this. You had an opportunity to get this in here. Now, granted, I wouldn't have got it if I was fast enough, because yeah, I probably might have bought it back. However, I probably, especially because I had a 515 sell order, I probably would have went back in that fence again. Now, the 515 was just mathematical, because when I entered into this, I entered it at like 390 or so, 380, 390. So it was when I entered. And I figured, well, mathematically, that's about 120, 130 points. So that would be like 30 or so percent from my trade. So that's a safe place to put a good amount, but not a large amount of what I had in at that level. I wish I would have put more on, of course, now, but whatever. So but this one here is an interesting one, because the high is 500. My mathematical play for buying and selling is the old psychological numbers that stores use. You see, oh, they sell some for $12.95. So if I want to sell around 500, I go like 499, 498. If I want to buy near 200, I'll buy like 201, 202. That's just my way of thinking. But this one is more of a mathematical, is why I chose 515. And then my next song I'm going to go over is the My Time, which was the first one, well, by Motorhead anyway, that Triple H would have went in or have used. It was a very good song. And some of the key lyrics that I like, well, hey yo, Jimmy hit me with that Triple H, yo, that music. Hey, yeah, you let the music keep playing, Mr. Dumb Shit. I don't know how to say that part because of the whatever. Yo, let me tell me what time it is now. Whatever. Not gonna listen to anybody. Tell me who and what to be. Not trying to be like everybody. That's been me the whole life. I've been a contrarian for so many different levels and ways since I was like 7 or 8. Tired of playing make believe. Because I am the blind and the blind lead the blind. My time, our time. And when you get into things like in this example, like say crypto trading, that's how I look at it. This is my time, and anyone with me, and all this is our time, kind of deal. And that's how I look. I love this type of lyrics for stuff like that. Games, politics, sissies, sons, money, fools, stupid rules. I've had enough of this. I just love this line here. Money, fools, stupid rules. I've had enough. All your stupid, and I don't want to sing or get any of the lyrics because I suck at it. All your stupid rules. Keep your finger off the switch gun. All your stupid rules. Don't you understand your revolution? And don't you understand your own confusion? Make up our fantasy in your little mind. Follow me like the blind, lead the blind. And that's just how I see this whole world, especially on a whole monetary system and whole on so many political levels. And long story short, I'm a big fan of this song as well as well. And it all worked out with Motorhead and Triple H. The next one, when he got in a faction with called Evolution, which was the name of the song. And I won't go over too much of it, but it's just a song that I like. It's just really cool, and it really doesn't really have anything too much other than I mean the changes in the world. And actually, it does have a lot to do with things going on when I think about it. Because I do believe we're living in time where, however history is reported in the future, like decades and centuries, millenniums even from now, that they're going to be looking back at this time and really that's changed the monetary system of the fiat currency and how it's going to really go through its changing cycle that we're living through right now, which is what I believe it's an amazing time to be on the planet and to actually go through such a phenomenal event, I think. But we're in a spot where the blind are leading the blind. And let's finish it off with in silver. I remembered. Actually, gold silver ratio. I showed it. I showed it. Yeah, I did. I believe. If not, yeah, and I always look at this on the 1 minute. I remember seeing that when I paused the tape. Yeah, I did show it. Silver. Let's see. Did it do what I thought it was going to do? Let's take a look. 1840. Did we have a failed break it? Correctionary move. Alrighty then. So this happened at what time? 9:44. It's 10:44. So the price action did have a little bit of resistance test. Wasn't able to break out. I thought it was going to, but now in the spot, it's always about adjusting to the message of the market. And okay, well this is, and I've said it so many times. If we're gonna correct from this high, where are we gonna go? I'll give you two answers, and both answers were correct. The 18, in particular, the 18 average of lows, and where we came from, and a little bit of a pierce below. Okay, well, this is simple now. Okay, we have the newly rising 18, getting it up above here in the next little bit, 1850. Oh, baby, we're pretty much off. If this thing flattens out and we aren't able to really get much above 1848 and it holds above this 1830 high change level, then that's going to be 18 average flattening it. And that's going to just stall any excitement for the possibility of a break, although it would still possibly are looking for the break above. But it also means that I'm looking for weakness on the 18 lows for me to say that S move is a failure. And right now, I don't see that. And we've seen earlier a few of those altcoins, how some of the failures are. Because one of the things I'm going to be talking about, I guess I'll show Ripple really quickly, as it has or had one of those things. And I'm sure it's just doing its failed breakdown now. And this is what the 4 minute term says. So yeah, without any audio in that video I did yesterday, with only 5 minutes of audio, basically one of the things I was saying is this is going to probably go down. Where's the failed? Oh, this is the failed break hit right here. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I've showed it many times. So I'm just going to show another one. And now we're seeing that weakness amongst the 18 average of lows. This is one I put on high alert that it looked like might be faltering, and that's exactly what this is doing. And it might be asking a lot on a bearish level even to do something like this. That could happen, and this could still be a bottom, and this could hold and stay above the 18. We still don't know yet. But for me to say and deem this holding and staying above it, that means whatever low this makes, it has to be somewhere near in here or where it is. Then it's going to have to, in time, it can take a decent time, but in time it has to come into the 18, and then we're holding and staying above it. And then, of course, with anything, getting above the 18 average of highs is exitation, leaving it. So I don't see any reason to buy this on strength amongst a daily time frame unless this can get anywhere near above 29.5 cents. And if you're buying this on weakness, I think this is a bad time to buy it as well. I think you can get cheaper prices. Other than the fact that you didn't buy in any of these times you want to enter the game and it's all just already at 26 cents. You know, I got to get in the game. I don't have anything. I don't have much. That's a different story. But if you're trying to time prices because of a move like this, there's a good chance that you can time it for a cheaper price as well. As you can see in here, this failed breakout in here. Well, it went below this. This is holding and staying above it. And like I mentioned, you could have that failed breakout. This is that failed move in here. So the weakness on the lows back in here was starting to show at this point. I'll finish this video off with Bitcoin against gold. And right now it's 6.25. What does a 6.25 mean? Well, that's how many ounces you can get with one Bitcoin. And you're not going to get as many if it breaks down below here because it is looking to break down below the support on what has been, and this is a terrible downtrend. That's a bit better, but a descending triangle. But the continuously support has been upgraded, downgraded, whatever you want to see. We can see that this level resisted in here. There's a few people that probably actually do, other than, I don't even look at this much, but would look at this chart in either direction, one divided by this, either way. So this level of support, and now it's barely piercing below here and then doing so now. So it's been live here to have a decent break, and this little area didn't do it. Live here, didn't do it, and now live again. Because to me, filling this empty space, as I call it, is something that I would deem or look as next target levels. If, of course, we have that break. And it's hanging on like a thread right now. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.